I'm Isaac.
And I'm Jaylina.
And this is a 5-window short bus that we lived in and out of for the last year and kind of started a bus building business.
This video is sponsored by the Ad Motor M150R7. With gas prices rising, get an e-bike, click the link in the description, and use code ADFLORB to get $150 off this Ad Motor M150R7 folding e-bike. Now enjoy today's video. And remember to subscribe.
I got into this lifestyle years ago now. I lost my housing kind of overnight and I had like 2 weeks to figure it out, and I decided I was just gonna buy a van. I bought a G20 van, had no experience, no nothing. Couple buddies came over and we made it livable. The thing that really got to me over time was it wasn't a high top. I could not stand. And then over time, cooking on your knees, I knew that I couldn't do that long term. But then I stepped into a bus and the whole world just changed. I'm Isaac and this is my 2003 Ford 7.3 Power Stroke. I'll show you what this beast has got all up in it. Like, I look at my first bus Skooliana and like, that thing was so simple, but it worked great. And I learned a lot from that. Like, I want a toilet this time. Some people that doesn't matter.
I traveled in a cheap conversion van for about a year with the 2 of my cats. It was just kind of small for us, and so I wanted to go bigger, and that's how I wound up buying a bus. And I came across your channel after I had bought my bus because I started looking at other people who were building buses. And
then we started talking, then she came to visit. This specific one, I was like, I want to try everything I've never done. I want to build a shower stall. I want to put hot water in. I want to put a real water tank in with like an electric pump. I've never done that before, right? But it was like, I redid the plumbing on this bus probably 4 times. It's like, I'm gonna try, I'm gonna mess it up, and I'm gonna learn what not to do next time. And I had to do the plumbing on this bus 4 times to learn how to do plumbing. So, my advice is, don't be scared to fail. All right, so this is Vin Diesel, and you could say that this bus kind of started this whole business for me. This was just gonna be a quick flip. I already had it sold before I even bought it, but then I was driving it home and it just felt like I needed to build it. All my buses that I buy and build are 7.3 Power Strokes. I can get parts and I can get work done anywhere in the country very easily. When you get into a commercial bus with very commercial motors that aren't as common, both those things become very difficult. So this is the Skoolie home door conversion. And the reason I really did it is because the school district just curbed it real bad. You can kind of see where I bent the metal back. So I used C-channel to fuse the door together, and I cut the hinges for the butterfly here and here, and then I just put this kind of wood on here. Just, I don't know, I thought it looked cooler than the metal. And then I just put this lock here. I could have it shut, be in there working, and then somebody could just come in and shut the door like a normal house. It really does make a big difference. This is just a vent for the toilet. It's so that water ain't going in the vehicle. And then as far as paint, I like to use an oil-based paint from Home Depot. I've sprayed a lot of buses with the stuff. It holds up pretty good. And then on the roof, that's that Henry's Tropical silicone paint that everybody uses on buses. I have a love-hate relationship with the stuff. It works great to seal your roof, but nothing will stick to it. You have to do that last or know that you can't mask it when you paint your body. This is kind of a shore power, goes to a trickle charger inside that maintains the lithium battery bank. And then I have a diesel heater and it exhausts outside of the vehicle. I delete the flashers on buses because that's also one of the biggest leak points in a bus. I take those out and then I put a bead of caulk around the inside, put it up there and then paint it over. And I think it looks a lot better and it eliminates a giant leak hazard. Okay, so this is underneath the bed. Real quick, I have just a slide lock. It's not pretty, but it works. Inside, 42-gallon water tank, and I just set it up on a piece of foam board to kind of help keep the cold away from it. But what I've noticed is that much water ain't gonna freeze unless it's like really cold in here. And then the water pump And the accumulator tank is all over there. And on this side, we have our tank for the diesel heater. And this basically runs up to the heater. Now, I like personally having an external tank for the diesel heater. I don't want to be running my heater and forget about it and using all the diesel I need to get out. Over here, we have the electrical. So it'll charge 3 ways. It'll charge off the trickle charger with that 110 outlet I showed you earlier. I have a 40 amp DC to DC charger. Anytime the vehicle is on, it's charging the battery bank back here. 40 amp MPPT charge controller with an 1800 watt inverter and 150 amp hours of lithium. And then the diesel heater is just right there, exhaust underneath. I have 2 220 watt solar panels from Grape Solar, so total of 440 watts of solar. And I have a skylight where the old emergency hatch used to be, just because it leaked like crazy. Took that out, reframed it with a skylight, and then I also put a skylight in the shower stall. Didn't account for when I put the shower pan in, lifting the floor 2 inches. So that's the highest point in the bus now. You can stand in there and be just fine taking a shower. This is our hot water heater. I really like these hot water heaters because they vent outside. And then I have a gray tank under here. It's got 2 ways to empty it. I have a 12-volt release switch in there, and then I also have a manual because I build things to break, and if something happened to the electric release valve, I can still empty it manually. Okay, that's it for the outside of the bus. Let's take you in and kind of show you what we did in there. So I didn't do much up here. The one thing I did do is repaint the whole bus is sheet metal with a nice white just to brighten it up, feel a lot bigger. This is like a piece of plywood with like school bus foam on it that was here. I just took that off, put some cedar on it, and then I just put snaps up so that when we put our curtains up at night, it'll snap all the way around. And little key holder, coat hook thing here. Didn't have a radio in it, so I just capped it off with some plywood. But other than that, that's a stock school bus situation over there. This is the shower in the size of a window, which if I remember right, I think is like 27 by 31, don't quote me. But basically all I did was I sealed it with Red Guard, and then I put the cedar up, and I used a boat like Varathane sealing thing to kind of seal the cedar up because it was just easy. I just did the exposed copper piping through here to a Nebula shower head, super low flow, doesn't use a lot of water. And then the other thing I did, besides the skylight we talked about, was I put this shower curtain rod. Just give you a little bit of more elbow room, and then we put privacy film so you know people can't see you scrub a dubbing, you know what I mean? Here is the kitchen section. Now, one thing I started doing is open shelving above the kitchen. I really like seeing what I have. Coffee, chips, you just take like a mental stock every day when you're looking at it. This is a live edge piece of juniper. This is a 24-inch cabinet, and it wasn't wide enough to cover it, so I took some cedar 2x4 from Home Depot to kind of do like a butcher block kind of style, and we just use epoxy to kind of really stick it all together, and I think it's really cool. And then we just have the normal water situation, and then I have hot water, so you'll hear the hot water tank fire up, and it gets hot pretty quick. And then it's got the standard, you know, van, take it out the window if you really want an outdoor shower, but you got that thing there, you just open a window. And then we have leather drawer pulls, and you know, the water heater and all that stuff is in there. Got a normal drawer, silverware in there, knick-knack, paddywhacks. And got the 12-volt fridge, super efficient. And then the cool thing is, it'll lock in place. So like when you're driving, that's not coming out when you push it in. So there's a wheel well here. I just put this little like deal in there just to try and use the space, because it's really hard to like work around a wheel well. And then this drawer underneath of the stove. And then a little hack for all y'all. I see a lot of people putting locks and all kinds of stuff all over their cabinetry. If you just put a soft close slider, pretty much stays in there, short of like really yanking it open. So soft close sliders, dirty little van hack. And then we got, you know, 3 burners here, little oven, which I'm not really a cooker, but it's nice to have that. and it's propane, and I run this off the same propane tank with the hot water heaters on. Last little deal over here is I have the slide out pantry. These things look really cool in these YouTube videos that you guys see. But when you try to make one for the first time, you're gonna remember it. This is cool. It's a dinette. This drops to a second bed. I keep the cushion under there. And this is the second time I built these dinette booths, because the first time I had straight backs and it just wasn't that comfortable. And I just gave it a little bit of curve, and honestly, it makes a real big difference. And then I sealed the table, which is epoxy, just to give it like a really classy kind of look, and then put cedar on the backs. I really like wood, and I wanted to show as much of it as I could. There is storage in each one of the dinette booths. I typically keep like camera bags or whatever in there. And then over here, I got 12 volt USB, charge phones, things like that. I got a battery monitor right here. This is a Kildwick composting toilet. They're imported from Germany. It's a really cool company. Everybody's like, why is the toilet out in the open? Why is it on a pedestal? I don't want to have my toilet in the shower like everybody does. I don't want to have to pull things out, slide things out. The easier things are to do, the more you'll do it. It's my opinion. So anyways, wheel well here. I just put this little platform, put the toilet up here, and then I made this kind of like a little control panel. 110 outlets over here with USB, and my inverter switch is right here, and then my diesel heater. So the vent is right here. The little controller is right here. You just turn it on and set the level, and that's it. I had a bus before where I completely divided this off, and I really didn't like that it separated this space. You're living in here, and I wanted to make it feel as big as I possibly could. That's why I went with the half divider, just to give it a little bit of separation, but like not cut it off. And this is just a full size mattress, got off Amazon, cheap. And then I kind of notched it out just to kind of fill this space, just make it look a little custom, but like probably not necessary. And then we have chest storage over here, and we just have these doors on soft close hinges, so they'll stay open like that. And you could also just do that. This is just an overhead cabinet, put clothes, knick-knack, paddywhacks, things like that in there. And then you'd have more storage over here for either more clothes or just throwing stuff up there, like computers or cameras or whatever. The struggles of today make the man of tomorrow. And to me, it just represents like, there's pretty much always gonna be hard times. There's gonna be, things are gonna get rough. You're not gonna know how to get things done, how to get somewhere. But it's like you live through that, you have that experience, you're stronger for it, you learn what, it's like those struggles make you. So I embrace them, and then, you know, and then I learn like how to not get back there. And this is my advice to anybody, is like, don't get crazy on your first build. Like, just do what you need to do to survive and figure out your own things. Because it's like, once you get out on the road, it's like, some people love a couch, some people love a dinette. You can't answer that question until you get there. So don't try and get it right. You know, just do the best you can. That's what I've done in all my builds. It's you, your experience, your wants and needs that are most important in all of it.
The Ad Motor M150R7 is an easy folding and space-saving electric bike. The whole bike folds up to a very low profile and can be easily folded within 10 seconds. Thanks to the easy folding and simple operation of the M150R7, it can be easily stored in apartments, under desks, in trunks, in vans, RVs, and many other small spaces, while not taking up too much space and simply solving storage problems. You can raise or lower the handlebar stem to your desired comfort level and take advantage of the folding hinge to make the M150R7 as small as possible for storage. So with gas prices rising, get an e-bike, click the link in the description and use code ADFLORB to get $150 off this Ad Motor M150R7 folding e-bike. Thank you for watching. Have a great week.